Japan's got its superstars: Tokyo, Kyoto, Osaka, you know the drill. But what if I told you that some of the best experiences in Japan are hiding in plain sight? That's right, while everybody else is rushing to those same few hotspots, you could be exploring incredible destinations that are just as accessible but way less crowded. In this video, I'm going to show you 5 of Japan's most underrated and overlooked treasures. These places might not be on the typical tourist radar, but they'll give you a more rich, more unique experience without sacrificing convenience. But first, unsure of how to plan a trip to Japan? Don't worry, I've got you covered with my free travel guide in the links below. Let's start with the city that often gets skipped over, probably because it's sandwiched between Tokyo and Osaka. But that's a big mistake. Nostalgic for some hearty, home-cooked style food, this place's food scene is where it's at. You've got miso katsu, a sort of pork fried cutlet in this absolutely fire miso sauce. And that's just the beginning. In Nagoya, you've also got hitsumabushi, a grilled eel dish served in 3 different ways, kishimen, which are flat noodles served in a flavorful broth. It's comfort food heaven. But Nagoya is not just about food. The Toyota Commemorative Museum of Industry and Technology gives you a deep look at Japan's industrial evolution. It's interesting even if you're not a car person. And for something a bit more chill, Shirotori Garden offers a serene, peaceful escape with great landscapes and some traditional tea houses that you've got to see. You'll feel like you've stepped into some sort of painting or something like that. Here's the added bonus of Nagoya. Its location makes it perfect for exploring nearby gems like Inuyama Castle. It's one of Japan's oldest castles. It dates back to the 16th century. It sits on top of this hill, it overlooks the Kiso River, and the castle doesn't just offer great views. It's got a ton of history. As you climb up the wooden stairs, you'll notice it's a lot less about flashy displays and more about preserving that authentic castle period feel. The surrounding area is full of nostalgic streets, local shops, and there's even a shrine dedicated to dogs. It's the kind of place that feels both grand and sort of personal at the same time. And if castles aren't your thing, check out the Gifu cormorant. Fishing on the Nagaragawa or Nagara River, it's an ancient tradition that's still practiced today and offers a glimpse into Japan's cultural past. Next up, let's talk about a city that beautifully blends history, a little of that tough stuff called resilience, and some culture, but somehow still flies under the radar for a lot of different people. When people think of this city, they often focus on its historical significance, but this city offers so much more, from its unique blend of Japanese and Chinese and European influences all the way down to its absolutely gorgeous natural beauty. It's a destination that will surprise you at every turn. I'm talking about Nagasaki. Dejima, the former Dutch trading post, is sort of a glimpse into Japan's isolation period. Then you've got Glover Garden, where you'll find 19th century Western style mansions and these panoramic views of Nagasaki Harbor. And if you want an unforgettable night view, Mount Inasa offers one of the most breathtaking cityscapes in Japan. And for the adventurous, there's Hashima Island, which is better known as Gunkanjima or Battleship Island. It's something that came super hot recommended by a Japanese friend of mine and absolutely great. It's this abandoned mining post and it gives you a reminder of Japan's industrial past. And part of the experience is getting there, taking the ferry over, and that's such a huge part of the experience. By the way, if you've got your own favorite underrated spot in Japan, drop it down in the comments. I'm always on the lookout for new places to explore, and who knows, maybe your pick will make it into a future video. This next place is in Tokyo, of all places. Underrated? Really? Tokyo? Hear me out. This isn't your typical Shibuya or crazy neon experience like in Shinjuku or Akihabara. Imagine a neighborhood that's got that modern edge with a little bit more laid back, sophisticated, chill vibe. You've got incredible food, cozy bars, and a lot of charm without the crazy crowds. Welcome to Ebisu. I'd start my journey at the Ebisu Beer Museum, and you can get a crash course of all of the history of one of Japan's most famous brews. And yes, you absolutely can taste the beer. Then I'd maybe head over to Ebisu Yokocho if you like beer, alcohol, that sort of thing. Again, alternatives to maybe something like Shinjuku Golden Guy. It's an alley that's packed with a bunch of different izakaya or gastropubs, and they have everything from fresh sashimi to grilled skewers, sort of bar food, and it's great. It's a perfect spot for bar hopping. Make sure you know about those cover charges, understand the culture. Check out that previous video if you haven't seen that. If you're feeling fancy, I'd maybe check out Ebisu Garden Place. It's got a lot of upscale shops, cafes, there's even art exhibitions. It's a more quiet, chill way to experience Tokyo. At night, I think it really shines when the lights come on. It's like magic, man. It's definitely a different vibe from the main spot of Shibuya. Maybe you've heard of Sapporo, but that's not what we're gonna be talking about today. Let's head up in that direction, up north to a city that combines old world charm and it's absolutely gorgeous. It's kind of unique in that what you would probably describe this place as having is cobblestone streets, red brick warehouses, which doesn't sound like Japan really, and some of the freshest seafood you'll have. And I'm from Baltimore, so I know a little something about seafood, baby. This place has everything you need for like a perfect coastal getaway, and you can avoid, again, some of those tourist crowds. This place is Hakodate. I start off in the morning at Hakodate Market. You can dive into the kaisendon, which are steaming rice bowls, the sashimi, and take the ropeway up to Mount Hakodate for some of the views. Mount Hakodate view is consistently ranked as one of the best in the world. For some gems here, don't miss Goryo Kaku. It's like a star-shaped like fortress, and then it kind of like lays out into this sea of cherry blossoms in the spring. So spring's a great time. Most people think of going to Hokkaido in the winter. Spring is also a great time to visit. If you're up for some more exploration, I do the Onuma Quasi National Park. They've got some beautiful lakes and walking trails, and it's just a short train ride away. So definitely check out Hakodate. Last but not least, let's head to a place that feels like you're stepping back in time. It's sort of surrounded by mountains, and it's got a ton of cultural heritage. It's really mainly famous for its old town. It's got like these narrow streets, traditional Japanese wooden buildings. You can experience that historical side of Japan, and again, I keep saying it, but it's true. You can avoid a lot of the crowds. So in Takayama, the Sanmachi Suji, which is the old town, you can take a stroll. You can find a bunch of different shops and breweries and cafes. And on that sake tip, Takayama's got some of the best sake around. It's because they have that pure mountain water. If you're in the US, think maybe like Colorado because of the mountain water. You can stop by some of the local breweries, do a tasting, and you can even figure out how they make the sake. So that's an experience. There's even more stuff. One of the highlights is the Hida Folk Village. You may have seen some of those pictures. They have those with the snow on top of them. There's those traditional thatched roof farmhouses, and you can do local crafts. You can hit up the Shinhotaka ropeway, which you can actually go up into the mountains and get some of the best views. Snap some pictures, stay there. Absolutely fantastic. All right, so let me know in the comments if you think there's a place that needs some more love. I think one of the things about this list in particular is it's not just off the beaten path destinations. These are off the beaten path places that are still pretty easy to get to. I think even though they're easy to get to, they're still overshadowed by some of the bigger places, the big three. So underrated spots, but what good is that gonna do if you go there and you're making it so that they don't want to welcome more foreign tourists and you're making all sorts of mistakes? So if you want to know how to avoid that stuff, definitely check out this next video.